Yes.
MedBix Webcast is a new kind of healthcare media channel to break the silo mentality and foster interdisciplinary thinking. Our mission is to fill that gap and to create a curiosity through different lenses, tapping the passion that guided the historical figures in medicine and bringing present-day groundbreaking research to the front lines. We interview physicians and leaders in the industry about present-day healthcare challenges on our live programming.
Hey, this is Ramana. Hey, welcome to the MedBix Webcast. This is Ramana Annamaraju. I'm the host of the MedBix Webcast. This is last month I had an excellent guest, and we had a beautiful presentations I did. Dr. Robert Pearl was there last year. He wrote a book called Chat GPT MD. We had a great conversation with him. After that, I spoke with few other physicians, and I actually is going to be exciting this month. I have the guest is trying to come in, but she's having some technical issues. She does podcasts, she said, but the Kim Downey I'm expecting. But I tell you, in the month of April, I have an excellent guest. So these are let me explain to you. There's a tomorrow, next week, I have a Salome Mayer. She is advocacy of the cancer series. She's going to talk about it. Africa. She is another thing she's doing is that she's advocating a lot of this concerning about the HPV vaccines in South Africa. So she has a very good picture of the state of the cancer affairs in the whole African continent. So we get a good perspective from her. The next one is Jonathan Fisher is he is a very sought-out speaker and author. He wrote a new book. It's called Just One Heart. It is an amazing book, and he is a very combined spirituality and physiology together. He is combining those two, and then saying that they're all one. Actually, I agree, all one and the same. Everything is a lot of apparently things that look different. They are basically same. The other one is Kerry Graff. She is taking optimal diet for humans. Gandhi used to say, "We are not living to eat. We are let to live. We are living. We eat to live." That's what Mahatma Gandhi used to say. So she said that optimal diet for the humans. That's very interesting. Then after that, I get. Hital Gore. She's an Indian physician, good friend of mine. She is a very active, one time she was active member of the API, Indian Physician Association. She has a spa. She's an OBGYN doctor. Is going to come and talk with us. Then after that is a Mary Lang. She's a coach, a life coach. She is advocating the advocacy. And then she's a hematologist, oncologist. We'll talk about cancer and all those things with her. So please, I think she's here. Kim Downey, are you there? Can you open the way? Kim,
Yes, I'm
Kim,
here.
can you come on the camera, please?
Yeah, I'm here.
I
I'm
don't
on
see you on the camera.
I'm here. Maurice, can you help me?
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, if she cannot come, I will continue my program. That I don't like to talk on the phone with the. This is a visual things, and I like the visual, and my presentations are visual. It is a. It's not a lot of doctors need a new to create creativity. Is a very important. What do you mean by creativity means? That means you need to understand a polymath, that kind of understanding of all the subjects, not just creative like some kind of a big soap opera. Creativity is understanding the mathematics, physics, chemistry, art, all of them. Combine them together with basic understanding of the basic principles of those subjects are important. That is the key to innovation. If you want to be part of innovation, you have to learn. So let me. She said that she does a lot of I don't know what she does a lot of podcasts, but she's having a trouble. That. But anyway, uh, that the one of the things I'm going to do is that I come back with the presentations that makes us solid. If you want to come to Silicon Valley and do something, you have to understand the polymath system, understand the mathematics, understand the computational biology, computational process, all of them, to have a basic understanding of the innovations. Just you want to be a simple doctor, yes, well and fine, you can survive that way. But you want to be a leader, you need to have that broad background in all of them. So yeah. So I got a Kim on the line. I don't know. Yeah, let me introduce you, Kim Downey Jr. Sorry, Kim Downey. She is a podcast host from Connecticut. She's a physical therapist. She said she's a cancer survivor. So let me talk with a few minutes with her. After that, I have a very interesting program that I'm going to present about the history of ultrasound, the way how they found out how the a simple man. Sorry, just let me. Uh, the guy who did the ultrasound detected in Seattle, he put this world map in the Seattle, and you put the Seattle on the world map with a simple inventions. I was involved in. I used to sell ultrasound machines. That I know very well. Ultrasound. I used to work with. I am a good friend of Dr. Naveen Nanda. He's one of the pioneers in the echocardiography. So I tell you about that story. Is a very fascinating story about the ultrasound. Ultrasound is almost 30% of the imaging is ultrasound nowadays, and you need to know the history, how the innovation came out from a simple one mind, how the innovation can really revolutionize the entire healthcare system. That's what I'm going to talk about it. But anyway, let me introduce you, Kim Downey. She's a podcast host. She told me, but she's having technical problems. Uh, but physical therapist, probably now I excuse her that because she's a physical therapist, may not have a technical knowledge. I have a two masters and I did a lot of computer science degree, but still I was struggling. But anyway, let me bring Kim down into the. Yes, welcome, Kim to the Medbix webcast.
Hi, thank you. I'm so sorry for the technical difficulties. Are you able to hear me now?
I can hear you, but yeah, please, yeah. So I can hear you. So your podcast is not on the camera. Is it on the audio or something or?
I use Zoom, but you can hear me and see me, right?
I can hear you and see you perfectly all
Okay,
right.
all right. So we're good to go. I
Well,
typically use Zoom.
yeah. So I was just listening to you. Then I just saw that you're a cancer survivor. Give me brief what is the thing of survival, the cancer thing that you went through, or the tragedy of the cancer. Can you give us a little bit of history about your background?
Sure, I'd be happy to. And thank you very much for inviting me. I really appreciate the opportunity. So, what I'll briefly share is that I'm a physical therapist by training, and I do have extensive experience both as a healthcare professional and more recently as a patient. And I understand the current healthcare struggle from all perspectives. I had cancer 3 times recently over a 2 year period, and I experienced a complication from my first cancer surgery, and that resulted in permanent unintended consequences. And I saw a total of 37 doctors during that time. And after a long period of constant health issues, I showed up for what I thought was finally going to be a routine imaging visit and a welcome opportunity to see one of my wonderful doctors. But it was anything but routine. Another mass was found that day requiring another biopsy, and that time it wasn't cancer. But my doctor wasn't there. And when I asked where he was, I was told that he had died a month ago. And I couldn't believe it. And I asked what happened, and they said they didn't know. And I fell apart, and I came to learn that he had taken his own life. And since then, I felt a calling to support doctors and to address physician well being. And approximately one doctor dies by suicide every day. It's the highest suicide rate of any profession and more than twice that of the general population.
Well, this is what do you think the reasons are?
For physician suicide,
Yeah.
I think there's many reasons.
Give me top
Med-
two reasons.
uh,
Top three reasons, maybe.
3 reasons. Well, one is the medical training is can be toxic at times. The things that the doctors are expected to do, even in training, just the many hours and putting their own needs, suppressing their own needs when they have to, go to the bathroom, or if they're hungry, or if they need to sleep. Everything, the patients are always supposed to be put first, so they learn to suppress their own needs, and that makes it more difficult for them later to realize what do they really need to be in a good place mentally. And it's very stressful being a physician, and the many hours. And sometimes if they have gone through all the training and they have a lot of medical debt, and if they feel like they want to pivot and do something else, they feel kind of trapped, in the medical system. So that could sometimes happen with like medical students or residents feel burnt out before they even start practicing. And yeah, there's just so many factors.
One of the things is a major factor. I feel that when I came to this country, I was most of the doctors, particularly Indian doctors and all foreign doctors, are all private practice. Now they're all acquired by the corporations, so they
Right.
understand. First time they're realizing the power of the corporations, the unchecked power of the corporation. That is their understanding. Is wow, that really changing the scene of the whole system. So it is the first time they or the patient advocates are looking at the corporate system in more closer look. Is a profit oriented corporate system is causing a lot of stresses to them. That is a shift, fundamental shift from the care system to the corporate working for somebody to make money for them. That is a big shift. That is a causing major problem. Second one is the electronic medical records.
Right.
It is my view is electronic medical records is because the thing is that the electronic medical records, it's not just meant for, it is supposed to help the doctors to use for the medical, the unify the interoperability. But what they did was they were using for the billing, and most of the companies are using for billing. So the electronic medical system forcing them to make more money, that is their target. That's why they forgot the patient, and they're focusing on the billing aspect of it. This is that electronic medical systems caused a lot of diversion from the patients. It is not a product. It did increase the efficiency, but it did not increase the productivity. That is a it may that is a problem with the patients are not happy, doctors are not happy, the hospital is not happy, the EMRs are certainly a huge burden on them, because that they use it for the things. And the third thing, I feel that is a debt. Education became a is a enterprise. Education should be beyond the enterprise, in my view. So that is what that the reason is that all these three things is and when you have enterprise, people are making money. Not only medical education. My son has a $150,000 debt. All these people, they're putting the next generation of Americans into the debt of slavery, of the educational slavery. Knowledge, what is one thing you can learn from India and China, that that the free education really excelled into this place for us, because there are so many in Silicon Valley. All the CEOs are Indian because it's Chinese or it's control. They have a lot more hardware companies. The reason is that education is free, so they have to make the education absolutely free. Just I don't believe any knowledge that is an investment by the government, by the country to their people. That is my thing. That is all these three things are causing problem. You
Right.
know,
And also a loss of autonomy. Doctors used to be in charge of their own schedules, controlling how many patients they saw, when they ate their lunch, their
yeah.
personal time. And now their schedules are largely dictated to them, and they face intense pressure to produce RVUs, those relative value units, and they have to see more and more patients in less time. And one doctor shared with me that he was expected to perform procedures from 7 in the morning to 5 at night without a break, even though everyone else on his team had a lunch break. He had a fight to eventually get one. And even me as a physical therapist, like back in the day when we evaluated a patient, we determined the length of each session, whether it was 30 to 60 minutes. We determined the frequency of the visits, from like 1 to 3 times a week. And, we determined the length of the anticipated treatment from like, 2 to 8 weeks. And eventually, with the changes in insurance and the introduction of the EMR, that changed. And now it's dictated to us how long we're allowed to see our patients, from the length of each visit to the length of the treatment period. And these decisions are frequently based on the type of insurance the patient has, not what the patient needs or what's best for the patient. And that's very frustrating and disempowering for us as clinicians, whether you're a doctor or a physical therapist. And learning how to make those kind of determinations is what we went to school for. And when everything's dictated to you, it kind of feels like, time to make the donuts, or like you're just hamsters on a cog in a wheel, or that you're basically on a production line for the system, versus being able to thoughtfully consider what's most beneficial for the patient.
So, Tim, if you do, you're a patient, the physician advocacy, you're doing it. If you do the physician advocacy, the main thing that you need to get, if you, I don't know whether what one of the things, what do you want to, how do you change that system? What are your principles of advocacy there?
Yeah, well, it's going to be so. What I've done personally is I just try to find ways to support physicians, however I personally can. And I spend a significant amount of time on LinkedIn, just understanding, what's on the hearts and minds of doctors. And I speak with physicians and I listen to their stories. And those are like a couple of the things I do. And then Kevin MD, if you're familiar with him. Uh, are you familiar with yeah, Kevin MD? So a lot of physicians can write articles and I can support them, and we collaborate on articles to just get the messages out there of the things that are so important to physicians. But a few things that need to be changed in general is, one is the culture of medicine starting in med school. And there's like so much, there's bullying and trauma and shame occurring at all levels, and it doesn't have to be that way. And trainees are often told, keep your head down and just keep going, and that perpetuates the toxic culture in medicine. And then another one, go ahead, did you want to say something?
Yeah, that the advocacy, in my view, is just the advocacy you have to do is that one of the things is that the doctors are feeling a lot of pressure to do the electronic medical records right. So they are liable to that. There's a legal liability there. What they're doing is this liability that is falling squarely on the physicians, not the IT companies. They are free from all the liabilities. So they are not sharing. That what the American Medical Association, all the advocacy groups should do, pressure the
Mm-hmm.
policymakers to make these IT companies responsible. That is the advocacy, central theme of the advocacy you have to do. American Medical Association President J.C. Unfield is talking about it. So advocacy is a lot bigger. Is it just a talking about how you feel, I feel the pain. You have to do a lot more than that. It is just you have to be forefront of that whole process, and then you need to be organizationally advocating the process. Then it makes sense to me that pressure at the policy level, at the political level, at the legal level, you have to do all of them in the advocacy groups. They have to do. So I understand you're feeling, you're collecting all the information. One thing I read your article in Kevin MD. One thing I was very impressed. One sentence that I one word, two words. He said that suppressed creativity. Doctors having a problem with a suppressed creativity, suppressed
Oh,
creativity.
suppressed
Because I like,
creativity.
I love
Yeah.
that, because that is the reason I started this channel. Tell us a little bit about that thing. I was impressed with that.
Oh, yeah, that when you're in medical school, you learn a lot about the science behind things, and you might have been really creative and be able to do a lot of different things when you were younger. You might have liked to play the piano or garden or things like that. And then when you get involved in the science of medical school, you suppress those things, and then that really affects you if you're just working all the time and you're not able to do the things that you used to enjoy. That really can affect your life.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I think that creativity is one of the most powerful way of reducing the stress. Dr. Catherine Hansen talks about it all the times. She said that stress release is the creativity is the stress release. That's one. That all the doctors are fundamentally science nerds. They love science. So science is in the reason they went to the medical field is to create that curiosity, to fill that curiosity, not because in the beginning, that is, you cannot survive in the medical school by just simply thinking about money or anything. So when they came out, it is all changed, unfortunately. That is what you're absolutely right about, the suppressed creativity. They need to tap into that suppressed creativity. That is, you said that one of the things you suggest, what are the suggestion you was your suggestions are study piano or read piano, or to learn piano or do other um, make a plans, so that's a good idea, that those kind of things. And my view is, just do science, learn about other sciences. Mathematics, you're scared of mathematics, get that challenge as you took the medical test. Take the challenge as a mathematics is not that complicated. Once you understand the art of it, it is a beautiful itself. It is the nature's language. All these things are the physics and mathematics or the nature's languages. So understanding these things is really so suppressed creativity. That's the reason I created the channel to. I've been working with the doctors. I've been working with the medical devices. I set up a lot of practices. One thing is I really understand is that creativity is, they were consumed by that everyday problems, everyday things. I think it is a time that creativity is the solution, at least a temporary solution. At the policy level, we have to do bigger problem. Is in a healthcare, is in America, is an healthcare crisis. It's a national security problem in my view, because if we
Hmm.
don't solve it, it is going to eat other budgets. Now it is a bigger than a defense. It's a bigger than any other budget. So it's going to eat, completely eating one by one, and then weaken the other systems. So the policymakers has to be really forefront of all these things. That's in my view. But
Right. I think
Kim,
another thing you have to do is restore physician autonomy. Doctors have so much responsibility, yet they have so much less control than patients realize.
so Kim, I wanted to ask you something personal. Yeah, and if you don't want to answer, it's fine. I wanted to ask you that when you diagnose a cancer, it is a death is just there. You can see in front of you that death is just possible. That is a possible through cancer. How do you deal with that in your mind, in your system, with your friends, with your? How do you deal with that?
Well, I mean, my cancers were all caught early. And so I wasn't necessarily, worried about that. I have had some complications, which makes things more difficult. So I'm on a number of, additional medications, and I, need some specialists. So I kept thinking, like, one more thing and then I'll be done. But once you have cancer, like, basically you're never done, and there's always a, a doctor appointment or something on the line. And actually I recently had another ultrasound that found something else, and I need another surgery next month. So
Yeah.
I don't know, hopefully that one's not going to be cancer, but I don't know. So I go to a local church that's been, very supportive, and I have wonderfully supportive friends and family. And generally in my life, I've had a positive attitude. So I just try to keep that or get it back if I start to lose it. And I just practice a lot of gratitude.
Yeah, that is gratitude is a great idea. Gratitude is the powerful force to deal with that. That people complain, and I'm going to present a topic on such some the gratitude, and then the people that unsung heroes, what they go through really do create things for the medicine. I'm going to present a topic, and you and me can watch together, right? This is the I'm a, I'm not only I want to be advocate for the unsung heroes of medicine, people who do not know, they don't know their names, they're underwent. They could be doctors, they could be nurses, they could be engineers, all of them. That's why I'm one of them. I'm bringing is today is engineering guy that I will show you that. Okay, okay. So we can watch together this one. This is the this is I have a great guest. I told you that we have wonderful guest on the April month of April. Jonathan Fisher is going to be guest of honor for us. He's going to have 1 hour. I'm going to talk about. So if you want to learn a little bit, the check the bell if you want the notifications in the future. Just check the bell on that one, and then it gives you notifications. So Kim is a more expert in that area than me. But anyway, I want to tell you who said all the scientists are nerds. Edwin Hubble he was born in a, I have a little bit of a problem with the eyes here. Is a little bit, my camera is a little bit far. And I think he was born in a 1889, right? So let me bring that little bit, my things there. Just I have another PowerPoint here. He was born in a, so he was, you know, very interesting. The date of birth is not that important, but it's important is he's one of the finest, strangest guy. He's a boxer. He won the boxing. He won the boxing matches. Then went to Oxford and he became a lawyer. Then he became a powerful, one of the well-respected astronomer, physicist in the country. You know, Edwin Hubble telescope now is the one of the major things that he brings all the heavens to us. Is Hubble telescope is named after him. What he found out was he was in Missouri. He was in a small town village guy. Edwin Hubble is a boxer. He won the championship basketball. He was playing. He's a sports guy. He was playing a champion. He won the championship for the Chicago conference title. So this guy is everywhere. And then what his passion was, think about that. He didn't practice boxing. He would have made more money. Being a lawyer, he would have made more money. But he became an astronomer as his passion and love. And then what he found out was he used a concept called Doppler effect. So you use an expanding universe. The universe is expanding. Further the universes, galaxies they're accelerating faster. Further they're accelerating faster. So universe is basically ends in a heat death, and means all of them are going to spread out, and they become we are tear apart. So that is a science, stunned the scientific community. We didn't know that the universe is, Albert Einstein thought universe is a steady state, is steady. But what he found out with the experimentation, with the with the Doppler effect, he found out that the universe is expanding. That is a scientific thing. but let me bring this my thing a little bit, so I can, so let me, I can follow that, the, so what is a Doppler? A lot of people know Doppler, right? The A lot of people know Doppler is that when you hear, you don't know the name of a Doppler, but its effect, when a siren goes there in front of you, right there, it comes, goes zzz, and pitch goes up and then goes down as you're far away. So it's a source and the observer relative motion of those two people creates the wavelength. That wavelength changes. That is a phenomenon called a Doppler. Is named after a Christian Doppler. I'll tell you about him a little bit in a second. But so when it is coming towards you, the ambulance, you can see the pitch very going higher and higher because the wavelength is getting shorter and shorter. When it's going away, the wavelength is going spreading out. It's going to, you see that pitch. You all know I can't play in this one, but you all know I don't think I can play this one here. But that is the Doppler effect. Doppler effect is the change of wavelength due to the motion of the source and observer. That is the Doppler effect. So is a Christian so you can see weather radar Doppler. Do you know how do you measure the weather radar? It's very interesting. A lot of people don't know this. Even physicists also a little get confused about it. It is actually they send a wave, and then a pulse, and then radar sends a pulse, and it hits the raindrop, and hits come back, and if it is going away, it is a redshifted. The wavelength is increasing. When it's coming towards you, the storm is coming towards you, the wavelength is coming down. So from that they can tell storm is coming out, coming in, or going out. So the velocity, the way they measure is that the raindrops or snow sending you the message back to you. That is the Doppler. You send a sound wave and coming back. These are sounds, ultrasound we cannot hear. It's just above higher than visible audible sounds that we have. So ultrasound is a frequency is higher than audible sounds that we hear. So they send these things to the that is a weather radar, the way it works. So fascinating. The then so any waves exhibit this Doppler effect. Not only sound, light, they all exhibit the Doppler effect. I told you, expanding universe, the Doppler effect was used to find out the universe is expanding. The sound is, you see that all the pitches that are coming down and going away. That is ambulances. You understand that. The train, if you're standing next to the train, you see that the Doppler effect. So so the ultrasound are usually now, you can see ultrasound is used everywhere now. That but I don't know, tell you that I used to sell ultrasound machines, and I know actually that I will tell you about that. If you see from the bottom ABI index, for example, it gives you a very good screening tool for the autochlorosis of the entire body. Then you see vascular Doppler is the DVTs and all those things you can find out with the bilateral vascular you do. That is the one. And then you can see small parts. So you can do abdominal, abdominal gallstones, kidney stones. Our friend Diana Landonia does a kidney stone ultrasounds. So you can find out all the kidney stones and all the gallbladder stones. And then aorta, that the John Ritter, the movie actor, died because of the aorta that burst out. So that is one of the things you can measure. Heart, of course, cardiography is big. Heart is the only one we have. It's a very big one. That's why we do a lot of heart studies. We can do through ultrasound. And then if you go the carotid is a stroke, and then you can measure the neck in the carotid arteries. Then again, transcranial Doppler. All of them are Doppler based. You can literally get the entire body. You can see through the ultrasound. Women have a little bit more, because that's why the woman, unfortunately, they need more. So we need to put more resources. Unfortunate that we don't pay attention to that kind of a economic system. We have to allocate more resources for women. The reason is mammogram, breast cancer. We have to put additional funding, because those are the two additional procedures they have to go through breast ultrasound and the OB and the OB ultrasound and pelvic ultrasound. That's they go through transvaginal probe. I used to ultrasound is a very powerful tool nowadays to see the. So doctors I saw primary care doctors too I saw ultrasound and X-ray. You can see through the body inside. And people are saying move the stethoscope out and you need to have a ultrasound in the future. So so these are the Christian Doppler is Austrian. He was an Austrian. He was born in 1803, and then he was a Christian Doppler named after him. His last name is Doppler. That's why came a Doppler is not any scientific. It's kind of scientific concept. Now it became a scientific concept. He was born in Austria. He's a mathematician, physicist. It's all physics people. Think about that. The next one is Dr. George Ludwig is a doctor in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. I used to live there in Johnstown, Somerfield, not Somerfield. I forgot. I said Evanberg. Evanberg I used to live. That is not that far from Johnstown. I had a good friend. I used to visit that. A small town in Pennsylvania. I went to school in Shippensburg College. That's why I know. So that George Ludwig he was doing a gallstones. He's checking through ultrasound for the animals. He's not for the humans, but he's a doctor. He's a very he's from the Naval Academy. Came down, but all his work is almost secret for a while, so they didn't publish it. Finally they came an Ion Donald. He is from England. He is the one first did a OB ultrasound, particularly for the baby. He did. This is the first picture of the baby. That is the first picture of the baby. First ultrasound picture of the baby. It is a part of the Smithsonian Institution now. It is a Dr. Ion, and there is a Tom. There's a guy called Tom Brown is involved, a physicist. Physics is always there present in everything in this ultrasound. Physics is extremely important. So that's the one he did the first time. It's a university kind of an experimental. He did the first one. He did that baby. Just the basic idea of the baby came out. That is, ultrasound came out. That is in the University of Glasgow in Scotland, they did that. But really, this ultrasound took off with this guy. This is an amazing man. You don't know him. His name is, as you can get an apple pie, his name is Don Becker. It's not that fancy name. It's a Don Becker, very simple and straightforward. Don Becker revolutionized the entire ultrasound market, ultrasound imaging. What he was working in he was born in 1932. Sorry, he was born in 1932, Alaska. Then he moved to Seattle. Then he joined in the US Air Force. Then he was a part of the technician in the radar unit in the South. He went to South Korean War and he was in the radar war. And then he finished the Korean assignment, came back to Seattle, and then joined the Boeing as a part-time while studying the University of Washington electrical engineering degree. My brother is electrical engineering, master's from Toronto. So, but he was doing electrical engineering while he's working in the wind tunnel in the Boeing. Boeing created a wind tunnel. That's how the wind works on the planes, the effect of the wind. So he learned everything about the velocities, that those things. He understood the physics of it. He's an engineer. So what he did was next thing is that he created how the Doppler works is, I told you, the blood in the particularly if you're talking about a heart blood, the blood cells coming towards you, the wavelength. So when you send a wave, it will reflect back, right? So if the is getting compressed in the wave, that means it's coming closer to you. How fast it is coming to you. Then if it is going away, the blood is flowing outside. When around the probe, that is a probe on the left side. You see the probe, it is going away or coming in. The speed, the position and the speed, it measures. That is what the ultrasound does. That is a Doppler effect. Doppler effect is how the blood cell moving back and forth, how fast is moving towards the probe or going away from the probe. That is the Doppler effect. So, but he did it's called a continuous Doppler. First, he did a continuous Doppler. That was a it was came in the University of Washington. He was working with a professor. He came up with a continuous wave Doppler. That means you send a continuous wave, constantly sending a wave, and see. It was not a perfect. It was just the first time they know that it responds and got the heart rhythms there, but they did not get complete picture because the reason is that continuous wave is not good for particularly small vessels, and then the slow mechanism of this blood. So they need a continuous wave is a sending the signal continuous. That's what continuous wave Doppler is. Still useful some places now. Even we can use it with a fast blood. Certain areas of the body you can use this continuous wave Doppler. But he's studying about heart. Continuous wave Doppler did not work. So he's a genius. He came up with a brilliant idea. He heard about that. He studied somewhere in the weather channels that wow they do it. I was just telling you how that pulse, send a pulse and wait for the pulse to come back to the raindrop to see whether storm is coming towards you or going away. So that's what he did. He got that brilliant idea, Don Baker. Then what he did was he just implemented in the ultrasound field. That was a moment of change. It revolutionized the entire ultrasound, cardiac ultrasound. So he did. He was really so. And then you opened a Bellevue in the Washington. My nephews, everybody there. I know I visited Bellevue a few times. Advanced Technology Laboratories (ATL) they call. The first medical Doppler was done in the garage of him in the Bellevue suburb of Seattle. Actually, Bellevue is a suburb of Seattle. So he produced the first Doppler. Then that it became slowly. Then the company got funding, and then it became a. He sent. There was no ultrasounds before. 14 different countries bought his machines. 60 distributors around the world, and then 24 patents he got it. And then I used to sell. It's not that long ago, actually. I am. I'm not a historical figure, but but that was Ultramark 4 is a workhorse. It does a OB/GYN ultrasounds. He used to do very well. You can do everyday OB ultrasounds. That is really revolutionized all the pregnancy and mother. That is only ultrasound at the time. Then you have HDI 5000 came in. It is a color Doppler that is for the cardiac echoes for the heart problems. So this is the first company in the 80s and 90s. It reached the $1 billion industry. That is amazing. Now it is worth like $20-30 billion probably that is now. So that is he reached his company $1 billion. So he is a really remarkable. He really started the entire ultrasound. Now there is a lot of things going on in ultrasound. Shear wave ultrasound is a new kind of thing. It's a different way of sending the waves. The longitudinal. Most of the ultrasound send the longitudinal waves. Like the one on the left side, is you see the top, that is a wave. But the shear wave, a new kind of a science, a new kind of every technology people take all the credit for everything, but it's actually science. These are all understanding the physics. So the physics of it is the shear wave. It is very good for the liver scans. People who are alcoholics to get the immediate. If you want to know the state of your alcoholic state of the liver, just get the fibro scan. It tells you which state you're in. Is that stage 4? You stop with stage 3. You can drink once in a while. Don't do every day. So that is otherwise you get into cirrhosis. That you get into a lot of trouble. So the liver failure will come. So you can do prostate. You can do the breast. Also, you can do that breast, particularly dense breast. You can do shear waves. You can get a very good. So I used to attend a lot of, American College of Cardiology meetings. I tell you a story. I was the first. I went to the American College of Cardiology conference in Chicago. So I was Dr. Nanda was one of the wonderful men I met there. I am not a doctor. I'm a physicist. So I go there and he really took me, and then he took me around and introduced him as as a friend. And I felt so good. I have nothing. I could not understand a single thing in the conference. And then Ramaswamy, another doctor from Harvard, he was there. He was also taking a. I was like a mentors to me. So all of them are in the whole American College of Cardiology, the blonde hair guys, all of them are all the salespeople. We are nobody like me there. I can see. I was, that was a moment of understanding, is that it is really fascinated by the ultrasound. And then Dr. Nanda he wrote a book on Naveen Nanda. Thank you, Dr. Nanda, if you're watching. Thank you, sir. You're always my hero. I know your family and everything. Thank you so much. I want you to long live, Dr. Nanda. Dr. Nanda retired now, and is in Birmingham, University of Birmingham, Alabama, and he's a very good friend of mine. He wrote a book. That's one of the first few books on the color echocardiography he wrote, Dr. Nanda. As on the right side is a picture with him. So then there is a new, now the technology changed quite a bit. Now is a new ultrasounds coming in. The Ultramark 4 on the left side is the ATL. Now the Philips bought that. By the way, ATL was bought by Philips, and then they became a bigger company. Then the new ultrasound is focused is a friend from around the same neck of my woods, Mr. Akaraju, Sam Akaraju. He has a exo imaging is on the right side with the iPhone. You can use iPhone, basically a small probe, and you can do entire echocardiogram or general OBGYN ultrasound. So you can give it to midwives. That in the future they want to use AI to determine any anomalies in the OB ultrasound, all those things in the heart, all of them. AI is going to play a powerful tool in the future in this one. So you don't need. Unfortunately, the ultrasound is operator dependent. The technician has to be skilled. Now you don't need. With the AI, you can reduce that interdependence, so you can have a lot more. Because I remember sending a radiologist to a technician from India to Pakistan to do in the Kabul during the war, because they don't have a technician. So there is a problem. So you can now, in the future, at least it's coming up, is that with the AI, artificial intelligence, you can do. This is the first thing they need to prove, AI to prove these things to be done first. That is where you can see the benefits. The next is that the contrast enhanced ultrasound. It's a bubbles. Basically, is a contrast agent you give it, and then there's a bubble, you take it and you inject it, and then you can see the bubbles you can take the delivery of, not only it goes to the place and pathology and they lighten up, and then you can see what's going on there. It's much more clear. Contrast agents are excellent in that area. And then also bubbles, micro bubbles, these are all. So, that it will replace eventually CT and MRI. You don't need that. So the phones can replace the CT and MRI in the future. With this new, if you take a contrast and take the picture, and then our AI can read all of them, is going to replace. It can revolutionize. The ultrasound can revolutionize the healthcare industry. So then the new people don't know, but who plays the role? There is a French mathematician, Fourier. You cannot do what the pancreatic cancer is one of the toughest cancers of all. My friend, I don't mention, but he's diagnosed last year. Still is doing very well. I'm glad. But I tell you, is one of the toughest to detect and diagnose and treat. So we have to do the early detection for the pancreatic cancer. We don't have too many tools, unless you go to the MRI and find out something. But Joseph, there is a new ultrasound is coming. Just you can use a phone system in the future. You can see the bubbles you can use, and then see the in the pancreas any kind of if the abscess or anything like that. You can see in the future the cancer growth in the pancreas. So I hope this is one of the biggest threat to the cancers. Among the cancers is the pancreatic cancer. It's a very deadly one. So we have to really so the mathematician gave a very powerful tools for us. It's a Fourier transformation he called. we all physicists and mathematicians and engineers, we have to do every day, this Fourier transformation. We use a mathematics from the French mathematician. He was a god for engineers and mathematicians and physicists, to be honest with you. So we have to learn what is a Fourier transformation means. That is, if you want creativity, if you want to design, innovate, you need to understand at least the basic concepts of what these people did. So Doppler effect. Amazon headquarters is called a Doppler building now because he brought the Doppler to the world. But actually, they should have put his name. But he was the made Doppler Seattle very popular. He brought the Seattle to the world map. So they called it. They sold so many Dopplers from Seattle. So they became Amazon headquarters named after Doppler right now. And he died in February. He died recently, a few years ago. The Don Baker, unsung hero, unknown biomedical engineer, saved millions of lives. And then he is a first ultrasound. He's in the Smithsonian Institution right now. He was University of Washington gave him the highest award. Alumni give then he was a Hall of Fame. University of Washington Hall of Fame was inducted into. And then he was simple engineer with an amazing capacity. So unsung heroes of these medicines. That is, we need to gratitude. So not only creativity and gratitude, both we need to have to really admire and understand these people. Then we appreciate the medicine much more better. So I wanted to play a small interview with a last interview he did with the last interview you did. I'm going to play is a short interview. Guys, watch that, please.
Good afternoon. Hi, I'm Chris Rivera. I'm the president, CEO, and chairman of the board of Nativis here in Seattle, Washington. I'm here at the 16th annual Life Science Innovation Northwest, sponsored by Life Science Washington. It's my pleasure today to be here with Don Baker. I'm sorry, Don. Congratulations, you were just inducted into the Washington State Life Science Hall of Fame. How does that feel?
It's a little overwhelming. You don't start out life with that as your objective. If you do your thing along the way, in the end it comes out. And so 30 years later, we see all these things unfold.
Tell me a little bit about how the invention came about from the University of Washington.
Well, you don't start out by having a vision of a final solution. We were given an objective by Rushmer. He wanted to characterize the cardiovascular system in engineering terms. That means measurement of dimensions, blood flow, and pressure. It was up to us to decide how to do it. So given that as a charge, we had to resort to fundamental concepts to create the building blocks for a solution. So really, the process of developing an instrument, it is a process. And it went on for 10 years or more because you had to completely analyze the vision. See, what is the vision? What is the part of the vision? What building blocks do you have to create that you can reassemble to create a finished thing?
So just so everybody on the other side of the camera knows exactly, you were really the driving force behind the invention of ultrasound imaging, which has become a multi-billion-dollar industry around the world and has impacted tens of millions of people's lives, right?
Yes, that's correct. We had the good fortune. At first, we started with the continuous wave blood flow. And because of the limitations of that, we could not navigate around within the heart. We could not evaluate in a child a septal defect, a hole between the cheeks. So that led to the development of the pulse Doppler. The pulse Doppler allowed us to know where in the body we were. By combining the Doppler with imaging and overlaying the flow, that led to the color flow, and it gives you multidimensional information about the subject. And that was a whole system.
So how does it feel to be the father of an industry that has changed people's lives?
It caused me many times to think about what happened. People asked me, how did you do it? I feel somewhat like a band leader. I was able to assemble a group of other engineers. I mean, had engineers referred to me from Duke University, from the Swiss Federal Institute, from Stanford, said, you need these people. They would join the program. I was the catalyst that kept them moving, and so because it's such a large project, each one was allowed to contribute their special knowledge. And I can name components of the present system. He did this, he did.
Your career path, how did you start, background in education, how did you get into engineering?
Originally I was going into industrial design.
Okay.
I have artistic aptitude, mechanical engineering, and I was going to go into automation and so on. The Korean War started, and they were taking people into the service. So I went to the Air Force, volunteered, and got into airborne radar fire control systems. So I had 4 years of electronics. When I returned to the university, I decided electrical engineering. I hadn't been to the podium and speak to an audience, and I felt completely relaxed, and I felt I was back in my element. So it was easy.
Well, you did a phenomenal job, and again, congratulations. We're all very proud of you. You've built an industry that is going to last for generations to come.
There's more to be done.
Excellent. I'm sure there is. This is Chris Rivera again from Life Science Innovation Northwest. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you all, guys. So joining, let me just what a story. So let me bring Kim also on this side. So Kim, you heard the story of how we are advocating. We have to be advocating for everybody who do things right. It is a powerful story. A guy died after that interview. After that, he died actually in 2018. It is these people that create these things or greatest of these medicines in my view. So I bring these stories of those people that I bring science and story behind it, and then that's what I did. Thank you. So tell us a little final word. What is Kim? What is our podcast and everything? A little bit about your podcast.
Sorry, what did you say? I couldn't hear you.
So what do you just tell me about your podcast? Your podcast.
Oh, about Stand Up for Doctors.
Yeah.
So I interview doctors, and they speak to what's on the hearts and mind of doctors, and I also interview other people that intersect with healthcare, and it's just really rewarding to hear their stories and to support them and to have other people on that are also working to support physicians.
Thank you so much, Kim. Thank you for joining with me. And, it's a pleasure. At least we solved the problem of technical issues.
Yes.
I know that you need an IT background a little bit. Everybody needs an IT. Thank you all. Thank you so much. Good night for all of you.
Okay. Thank you.
Retelling their stories through our patented designs that can be worn on scrubs, t-shirts, printed on conference bags, and endless other promotional materials. Daily Wear for Medicine is the first ever of its kind to create curiosity in medicine through visual art. We at MedBricks are celebrating unsung heroes of the past who made enormous contributions to the field of medicine through our unique campaign called Daily Wear for Medicine. You can wear it, carry it, and give it.